Tom Hanks teams up with director Miguel Sapochnik and reteams with Castaway producer Robert Zemeckis to create this post-apocalyptic version of Castaway called Finch that's coming to Apple TV+. I'm going to let you know what I think about this one next. Hey everyone, it's the Outlaw John Rocha here with a review for you for Finch, this brand new film coming to Apple TV Plus, starring Tom Hanks and the voice of Caleb Landry Jones and a awesome, beautiful, wonderful dog named Seamus. I'm going to talk about the film in just a second, but first I'll remind you all to please subscribe to the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button if you're enjoying all the content we're doing here on the Outlaw Nation channel. And maybe by the end of this review, you'll be like, you know what? I want to be part of this. I want to see what's going on. Well, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button so you join us. We just crossed 19,000 subscribers, marching towards 20,000 subscribers. So help us do that. And head on over to Twitch as well. You can follow or subscribe to me there on Twitch, the Outlaw Nation, all one word. You see it on the screen there for all the stuff we do on Twitch. And later I'll let you know how you can be part of the Patreon so you can have a full interactive part of the Outlaw Nation for sure. All right, let's get into this film here. Finch.
You think we'll make it?
Not without my team. We do this together.
As I said in my intro, this one's directed by Miguel Sapochnik, who is responsible for directing some of the classic episodes of Game of Thrones, including Hard Home, The Battle of the Bastards, The Winds of Winter, The Long Night. So many great episodes. He's done a bunch of television episodes from some of your favorite shows, like Falling Skies, like Banshee, like True Detective, Masters of Sex, Altered Carbon, and he hasn't done a feature film since 2010 with Repo Man. That's the one with Forrest Whitaker and Jude Law. This one is co-written by Craig Luck and Ivor Powell. But this one lives and breathes on the back and on the talent of Tom Hanks. And let's get into the synopsis first. Tom Hanks plays this robotics expert, the titular Finch Weinberg, who's essentially made a home base in this laboratories that he used to work at. And this is all happening in a post-apocalyptic world after a solar flare or some kind of event has caused a majority of the resources and a majority of the people to be wiped off the planet. He has a robot dog and he has a real dog. And this is essentially the crux of the movie, is that he has something going on inside of him physically. So he wants to create a robot that will essentially take over for him and take care of his dog, Goodyear. Let's get into some of the things that I like. Certainly, and the acting is number one. Tom Hanks essentially doing, as I said in my intro here, a post-apocalyptic version of Castaway. And what is he great at doing? He's great at showing you empathy, vulnerability, fear, love, caring, occasional moments of anger that come from some semblance of nerd rage. All of that is here throughout the movie. It's a fully fleshed out, fully realized character, and we immediately dial in to his struggle and his journey and why he's doing what he's doing. And for dog lovers out there, this is a film that's going to touch you on so many levels. All the things that he goes through here, all the adventures, all the conversations and the interactions he has with Caleb Landry Jones are driven by that and are so well done here. Tom Hanks in close-up in a number of these shots by Miguel Sapochnik, just showing you what he can do with just a flick of an eye, with the movement of his face, with the change in tone of his voice. We've seen him do this a million times, but, you know, he's in that Anthony Hopkins phase of his career where everything he does, he's just damn good at. Is the film going to get him an Oscar nomination, or is it going to get an Oscar nomination? Who knows? But Tom Hanks is always going to bring it, and certainly he brings it here as well. And not to be outdone by him, Caleb Landry Jones does a fantastic job voicing over this character of Jeff, this robot that Tom Hanks has created, or Finch has created in the movie. It's really incredible how, and brilliant, how they have his voice mature through the movie. The physicality of Jeff, Caleb Landry Jones, deserves so much credit for what he's able to do in this motion capture suit, the emotion that he's able to bring out, the authenticity in the interactions with Tom Hanks's Finch. It's all there to enjoy here. So Caleb Landry Jones not only doing fantastic vocal work, but the motion capture work he does physically as an actor really helps you to connect with Jeff and the journey that he's on as he matures throughout the movie, from a curious child to a young adult who wants to take control of the situation, and helped along by Tom Hanks's Finch. So their back and forths are so well done. Let's get into something else that I liked about the film, and that is the special effects. I really think the special effects here are stellar. You know, sometimes you can see some CGI or robotic stuff and you start to be like, oh yeah, I can tell that doesn't really look good, or they haven't worked enough with the budget to make sure it looks really well done and not obvious. and it looks fantastic in this movie throughout. It's essentially what helps you care for this character as the film goes along. Jeff becomes essentially human. You start to care with the instincts, with the emotions, with the curiosity, with the occasional getting upset at getting yelled at by Finch. You start to connect with the character more and more. You start to feel for the character and be on that character's journey as well throughout the movie, which I thought was really well done. Also want to give some love to the cinematography here by Joe Williams and the productions designed by Tom Meyer. Really, the way these shots are framed, the colors that they use, just so well lit and staged. It's just fantastic. The locations that we go to are believable, so well dressed. So you're totally buying into this world that's being constructed here. It looks so real and believable that they keep you in the world of the movie. And we go to a number of locations. So there's a number of challenges here for everybody involved in the production team. And I think they did a fantastic job. The things I could ding it for is it's a lot to take in right at the beginning. There's a lot that's thrown at you, that's presented to you. And, you know, when you have someone like Tom Hanks, you can get away with it. But looking at it story-wise, I think they could have taken a little more time to lay the groundwork of what was happening. And then you get into what the deal is and why he's creating this robot and what it's all about. Would have been nice to have a little more time in the world through Finch's eyes, through Tom Hanks's eyes, and then at that point start the movement towards creating a robot. What's the impetus of it? What makes it all happen? But we're essentially starting already knee deep into this story. So it could work for some people, but for me, it took me a little bit to kind of like be like, hey, let's slow it down a little bit. And they do eventually do that throughout the movie, which really works as the movie goes along. Another thing I could maybe ding it for just a little bit is I wanted just a little bit more backstory with Finch, a little more of his journey, a little more of what went down. We do get a flashback. We do get a couple of stories, 2 or 3 stories told, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more. And what's so genius about the movie is that they don't make him necessarily the sweetest, nicest guy on the planet. There are moments, and especially when he tells a certain story, there are moments where you see that this is a guy who's not a fan of people. He's not a fan of working with people. So it's no surprise that he is finding companionship in a dog and in a robot. This is a guy that probably wasn't the easiest guy to get along with and had a very strong inflated sense of ego. It may be why he's still alive, but it's also a thing to maybe feel a little bit like hesitation or trepidation connecting to this character or liking this character overall. But as they say in the movie, humans are complicated creatures for sure. All right, so I give this film 4 cowboy hats out of 5. It's a fantastic watch. These connections with these characters are what keeps you dialed into the movie from beginning to end. There was no moment where I found myself looking at my watch or being bored or not wanting to be part of this movie. And that's a gift truly to have nowadays with these films. So shout out to this movie for doing that. The direction by Miguel Sapochnik is incredible in the film. If I'm a studio head or if I'm a producer, right, an executive producer right now, I should be looking at Miguel Sapochnik to be directing. I don't know how Marvel or DC or any of these other places that have franchises aren't looking at Miguel Sapochnik, Star Wars, to direct a film for them because he does a fantastic job here. So much love to him. And shout out to everybody involved in the production team for creating a very believable, authentic, and moving a post-apocalyptic sci-fi film. All right, let me know what you thought of the movie if you watch it this weekend, and let me know what you thought of this review down in the comments section below. Remember to hit a like on this video and share it on your social media. When you share the video on your social media, telling people, hey, the Outlaw Nation is a cool place to come be a part of and check out what they got going on here on the channel. Speaking of the channel, always remember to subscribe to the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button so you see when we're dropping all the new content we do here, and head on over to Twitch to follow and subscribe to me there as well. The Outlaw Nation, all one word. And if you want to be an interactive part of the Outlaw Nation, head on over to the Outlaw Nation Patreon, patreon.com/John Rocha, to see all the multiple tiers you can be involved in and all the benefits you get from being part of the Outlaw Nation. All right, head on off and hug your dog, hug your pet, hug whatever you take care of, and enjoy this movie, Finch, and I'll talk to you next time with another brand new review here from the Outlaw Nation.